Second time I've been trying to record this video. It's getting really annoying, so I'm gonna try again. This is a story it hurts me inside a lot. It's how my dad left. So let's get right into the video. I'll probably just put some random gameplay in the background. But anyway, to start the video off, I'll say that I know from experience, I'm not exaggerating, that my dad is a horrible person. I know he is. And now I know he's even worse of a person than I thought. So, let's start off with how this happened. Or we'll just start at the very beginning. I was a little kid. I was 4 or 5. I don't remember whether or not I'd started school yet, but I was a little kid nonetheless. And I was just living as a kid. As you do. You just play with toys. Don't really have much to do. If I did have school, the only work we had to do was write letters down because I would have been in kindergarten. But so one day this guy comes over. This guy that I don't know. And at first I was scared, but then when my mother was okay with it, I was a little less scared. But I'm sure she was just as surprised as I was, but not for the same reasons. Her surprise was not from not knowing him, not knowing who he was. It wasn't the surprise of someone you don't know. It was the surprise of something that you know isn't gonna end well. And it didn't. But they go into her bedroom and start talking, and I know that's what happened, not anything else. Because, trust me, she didn't love him that much. Not after what he'd done, but... So, they go in and start talking, and so... He comes out and then leaves. I ask what they talked about, and she says nothing, and I don't really push it that much, because I'm a kid, I don't really care. I don't really care about some random guy. The one thing I did care about that had to do with him was a dog that he had, which turned out not being his, but we'll get into that later. And most kids would just, a lot of little kids, they just like dogs. It's one of the greatest things in the world to a kid, especially at my age. But that just made the story hurt so much more. But nevertheless, he starts coming over more often, and promises keep getting made and being broken. Like that he'll be there forever. That, I don't know, all these toys, but I don't really care as much about those. I don't really care as much about the things that he said he could have gotten. What hurts me more now isn't that he left me, but it's that he left my mom. Because my mom could have used his help. She really, really could have. But he starts coming over more often. One time I think we went to the petting zoo. But he comes over more often. I get more used to him coming over and to the dogs being around. And so one day I don't see him, and it's been a few weeks, and and my mom says he's just not here for a while, and then he comes back for the final time, and he's gone forever. Now that's not all this story has to do with. Apparently, he was going back with his ex-wife. Horrible, horrible person. If you can imagine what a Karen is, she is like that on steroids. And probably multiple definitions, but she is just a terrible person. And she almost started a fight with my mom just to get my mom to go to jail, so that me and my little brother would be in her custody. And one of the issues that still lies to this day with him is that he could fight for custody. And the reason I pose this for any reason is not because he's a father. I know there are many issues that come with fathers' rights, that they're not always as fought for as they should be, but this is a case where he should not have kids. I know that there are fathers out there who aren't able to fight for custody of their children because of our broken legal system, but I can't speak for all of them. But what I can speak for is that he is someone who does not deserve that luxury, that right. He really, really doesn't. But after he leaves, then I find out that he left, which was a few days after. I hear that the dog wasn't even his. That hurt me as a kid more, but now I'm glad that dog wasn't his, because he would be a horrible owner to it, and his wife would be even worse. But sorry, I keep saying that. So then a few years pass. While I was a kid, I blamed my mom. I had more anger towards my mom than I ever should have. I acted like I was the only one being hurt by this. I was not. She was just as hurt as I was. She had him back for a few times and thought maybe he'd be different. I know the feeling of hoping something will change, and sometimes doing the same thing over and over can lead to change, but it didn't, and it's very rare that it does. But as a kid, for a while, I just hated that he left, and it became such a problem that I started hating myself, because I saw it as I wasn't good enough for him to stay there. I wasn't good enough. It's not that he was a terrible person, I wasn't worthy of it. I know now that's different, even though I'm a horrible person. I know that's different. But we'll get to that later, or in a later video. So, a few years ago, like 2, this story, when he left was about 8 years ago. I found out most of this information about 2 years ago, and that helped me have more anger towards him than my mom, because I know my mom doesn't deserve it. Though I disagree with her a lot, I don't believe she deserves what happened. She definitely doesn't deserve me blaming her for it. So, I guess that's the story. I'm still working on the artwork. It'll be a better one than usual because of how much time I've spent on it. I might have to use another day and maybe put a different story, or I don't know, something else that you guys could recommend in the comments. But yeah, I guess that's it. So see you later.